Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So, on the agenda tonight, we're going to be taking a look at a very recent upload to YouTube, and the reason we're looking at it so soon is because I've had so many requests to take a look at it. And the lead singer in this particular video is Mickey Callisto, and we featured Mickey on the channel recently with his Britain's Got Talent audition, where they auto-tuned his vocal without his knowledge, and then that was what was released nationally on TV. And of course everybody said, or a lot of people said, about the auto-tune on his vocal, and I just touched base with him on Instagram at that time to get his point of view on it. And you know, we learned that he was totally in the dark about it and sang fully live and didn't use it on his audition or anything like that. So received a lot of emails about this, and that included one from Danny Sapko, and we looked at Danny's channel recently, or probably a few months ago now, but something that was circulating at that time. But he's sent this video my way and a link to it. So yeah, lots of people asking me to take a look at this, and I did contact Mickey over on Instagram, and he did say that he was expecting my message because of this particular video being such a huge production and all that kind of stuff. And I think he probably second guessed that lots of people would email me about it, asking me to point out exactly what was going on. So as always, the link to the original videos in the description below. And for reference, this is just an objective analysis video. All I'm doing is pointing out what is going on. The other thing to note is that this is a flash mob performance. So it's a performance in public, or at least that's the video, the performance in public that just suddenly happens and lots of people get involved with it. And just in a public place. So all of the public reaction is caught on camera. So let's check this out. Is this the real life? I'm going to jump in here because I have on the left here the lead vocal, and on the right we have the backing vocals. And sometimes with the isolation software, it'll pick up a bit of both because this is Bohemian Rhapsody, so loads of vocals going on. But we can see immediately on the D4 where in the video the kind of windows open and we see some women singing, that we are calibrated to A440. So I'm just going to interject here because there might be some people watching this video who haven't watched my channel before and don't know what it means when I say that the vocals have been calibrated to A440. This graph is A440. When you've got a vocal that's on these lines all the time, it means that it has been moved there and that vocal has been pitch corrected. So as you can see here, we're kind of directly on this line. And if I was to move this forward, you'll see this kind of thing where we're just kind of perfectly over the line all the time. And that's a correction of the vocal, meaning that it didn't sound like that live. So the vocals wouldn't have fallen on these lines because this is impossible to do with human vocal cords, to be perfectly on A440 all the time. So just so you know, as we go through this video, when I say calibrated, that means tuned, i.e. it's not what was produced at the time. And these are isolated vocals. So it means that these, I don't know if we can take it back and you can see in the background. So the window opens and the vocals start. What I can do is get rid of that. So now we can just hear the voices. Is this just fantasy? And we've got this backing vocal over here that, I mean, this is all calibrated to A440 standard pitch equal temperament. And by the way, what we're about to watch is not a one-take performance. It isn't just somebody, you know, standing there with a microphone, picking this all up and magically getting an amazing sound, you know, in the middle of this square. It is multiple performances that they've done in the day. And this is something that Mickey has said over on Instagram as well. But when you know what's going on with these types of videos, it has to be multiple performances, and then they get loads of footage of all of the different performances, and in the end you get a combination, both with the video and the audio, of all of those different performances and kind of taking the best bits of all of them. So yeah, this is a post-edited vocal that we're looking at. Anyway, yeah, we are calibrated here.
Open your eyes, look up to the skies and see.
So now, I mean, this is what's really interesting, because the vocals have been calibrated to A440 standard pitch equal temperament, and that's the default for Melodyne and other pitch correcting software and auto-tune. But the piano that's being used to perform this, I've put that through the pitch monitoring software here, but it hasn't been picked up very well. But you can see here down at the bottom, the A sharp 1, as it's listed, is slightly sharp, and I'm just going to let it play through. And I mean, if you've got a sensitive ear, and this is something that Danny said in his email, if you've got a sensitive ear, you can hear the piano is not in tune with the vocals, but the vocals have been tuned. So I wonder if the vocals were sharp as well, singing along to this piano, and for whatever reason, maybe when looking at the vocals, they've looked like they're sharp, so then they've been brought down to be pitch corrected, but now they're incorrect with the accompaniment. Let's listen on. And you can clearly hear that that vocal sounds ever so slightly flat, only because you can see here the D sharp 2 is also sharp. So this piano that's being played is sharp. And I mean, here's Mickey in the background about to get involved. But I would say that it's not really heavily pitch corrected, but it is quite heavily pitch corrected. We get an occasional voice that does make it through that is going to be not calibrated to A440, but I think it stands out more with the piano because it is so calibrated, where the piano is so obviously sharp. And you can see here, the A1 still sharp, and these little dots here are all little bits of pitch that the pitch monitoring software is picking up from the piano, and again, sharp there. And this kind of thing, where the pitch correction hasn't been applied really heavily to the vocal, it's now a bit flat. So now we've got a vocal that's a bit flat and a piano that's a bit sharp. So this is why people listening to this with sensitive ears, it sounds like there's something going on that's ever so slightly out. And even there, I'm just going to take that back. Have a listen to this. That by itself is absolutely where it needs to be. Well, you know, it will be, because it's been pitch corrected a little bit, but that didn't sound too bad. But it sounds flat because the piano is sharp. Classic there. To me. That A sharp 3 held, and then the vibrato actually kind of drifts down a little bit. Because that's a held note, it sounds like it is out of tune. But I mean, the only problem here is that the vocal has been calibrated to A440, and the piano is most likely at about 446 hertz. It is sharp. It's higher up all the time. It kind of sounds like to me, like it's not where it should be. But anyway, we'll listen on. And you still see here clearly sharp on the A sharp 1. Mama just killed a man. And now Mickey comes in with his vocal, and I mean, as we saw in that Britain's Got Talent audition, actually in his other performances that I featured, where he's got a really accurate voice, and tonally really similar to Freddie Mercury. I mean, this has got that expression in there, which is great. Like I said, it's not really heavily done, especially on Mickey's voice. I don't think Mickey's voice really needs any tampering with anyway.
Put a gun against his head, pulled my trigger, now he's dead.
And we get all of these tiny bits that have been left in, which is great. Look at the way we descend here. And by the way, and you can still see piano still sharp here, but with the lead vocal, it's great. Like I said, it's not been really heavily pitch corrected. The backing vocals, I think, have been really calibrated, but that lead vocal, that one that you want to connect with, has been left, pretty much, I think, as it was, because we are getting resets in here.
Mama, life had just begun, but now I've gone and thrown it all away.
Yeah, so now at this point, where these backing vocals do come in, let me just mute this. We're almost getting that software instrument sound because of the calibration to A440, so it sounds more like playing chords on a keyboard rather than human voices. But we do occasionally get one of the voices that is a little bit more prominent, that is natural, but it's just the way that they've all been blended and calibrated that underneath Mickey's vocal, this is why when you're listening to Mickey's voice, yeah, it sounds great and it's got the expression in there, but then just underneath you can hear that A440. When I say about, sounding like a chord, it's because it is A440. So it is like playing it on a keyboard, through your interface. If you've got a MIDI keyboard and you go through your digital audio workstation with a software instrument that happens to be voices, this is the kind of sound you'd get because it will be calibrated to A440. So in this case, I think we probably most likely did have human voices that are being calibrated to a keyboard rather than playing it on a keyboard to begin with. It's just kind of doing the process in reverse.
Not back again this time tomorrow. Carry on, as if nothing really matters.
And I mean, sometimes we do get this. I'll bring in the instrumentation as well.
Tomorrow, carry on, as if nothing really matters.
So when we go back to the isolated vocal, you'll hear this, and this is a post-edited track. So there are fade outs, and like this.
As if nothing really matters.
Like there's a sudden drop off. So the end of that audio file has just been faded out with a digital fade in a digital audio workstation in order to get that clean exit from one phrase, one part of the song into another part of the song. But I'll just let this play on.
Too late.
And again, listen to the way that we come in exactly on A440 on that G4, and then we come down to exactly the F4. So we've still got this sound to it.
A time has come, sent shivers down my spine, bodies.
Now you can hear that there is a voice in there that is drifting a little bit, but the voices behind it are still A440.
Aching all the time. Goodbye, everybody.
I think this is probably, for those people that can hear A440, it just really stands out that there's been a lot of calibration going on.
I've got to go. Gotta leave you all behind and face the truth.
And here we go, starting to hear a little bit more variation. C4 sharp here, a little bit flat going up to D sharp 4.
Mama!
And here we had Mickey's vocal, and this is the backing vocal here, D sharp 5 calibrated. And that's always going to sound a bit weird, as we've seen in multiple videos, where you have this sudden ascension and we end directly on a D5 that's then maintained at A440.
I don't wanna die.
Love that. Look at this. Between the G4, G sharp 4, and just allowed to go where Mickey's voice goes. And this is absolutely essential. And by the way, what you didn't get in his Britain's Got Talent audition.
Sometimes wish I'd never been born at all.
And again, back to this software instrument sound. Oh, so now for those guitarists out there that might be watching this and watching the guitar playing really closely, and the kid guitarist here might be on the wrong chord at a particular point, this is footage taken from multiple performances. So the editing is now not really to do with keeping things as accurate as possible for whatever was being played at that time. Obviously there's going to be some takes that weren't as accurately played as other takes, but the imagery might have looked better on a take where the hand wasn't in the right place yet, or might have been playing a wrong chord, but then that's made it into the final edit for the video. So this is why you might see some things on the guitar where you think, oh, hang on, that shouldn't have been there. Like that, tiny bits of where you see vibrato and it's a straight note, and then when it's a straight note and you see vibrato. But I think this is the kind of thing that guitar players will probably notice. I hope that this video isn't going to get blocked because I'm playing the instrumentation in there as well. The other thing that really makes it clear that it's a post-produced track is the panning that we've got going on, because if you're just recording with one mic, you wouldn't get this kind of clarity of different instruments and the left channel, the right channel, and everything being really nicely arranged from that stereo field perspective. Like this, we're getting voices in the left channel and the right channel. Let me just
Galileo, Galileo. I'm just a poor boy, nobody loves me.
He's just a poor boy from a poor family, sparing his life from this monstrosity.
Easy come, easy go, will you let me go?
Bismillah, we will not let you go. Bismillah, we will not let you go. Bismillah, we will not let you go.
I mean, you can hear that we are working with some really nice clean signals going on. So it means that the voices have been picked up really clearly with whatever they've been using in order to get this sound. And like I said, I think it's a case of them either having lapel mics or mics close to them that's going to be picking up their voices, so then it can be post mixed. And of course this is a huge project to take on in order to get all of the camera crew here, get all of this audio and get all of this data and then stick it all together. So, and just to clarify, they weren't pretending to do this. They genuinely did this all in the square, but then obviously for YouTube to get it to sound as pristine as possible, that's when it's been post-produced and pitch corrected and all those studio things added to it to get it to sound a particular way. But like we've already said, I think probably leaving the vocals maybe where they were wouldn't make it stand out from that pitch clash perspective with the piano and the vocals.
We'll not let you go. We'll not let you go.
Mamma mia, mamma mia.
Mamma mia, let me go. It's an honor to sit down and put aside for me, for me, for me.
Yeah, and there we have it. Again, all those voices that suddenly stop for the guitar break so that we get such... Let me bring this in.
We'll
I mean, that's an instant drop off, kind of instant fade out, so that now the guitar, because, you know, if you've got other noises happening afterwards, it's going to break the impact of the guitar coming in, and everybody, you know, is waiting for this particular guitar solo. Again, I'm not sure that I can let it play because of copyright and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so I mean, again, because this is pieced together from different takes, like there, you know, when he has the guitar behind his head, the chord changes, but he doesn't change the chord with his hand. But it's just something that, you know, looks cool, you know, doing the jump and putting that in the final edit. Let me just let this play on.
So you think you can love me and leave me to die? Oh, baby.
Oh, and I think that was maybe a little bit of effectively like saying a comp take isn't really an accurate description, because they weren't doing this over and over and over again, you know, trying to sing the same verse, the same chorus, but I mean jumping between one take and another take from another performance. It sounded like we just had kind of a bit of a drop in there.
Think you can love me and leave me to die? Oh.
Yeah, that kind of crossfade, because we didn't hear the end of that phrase or the breath to then get into the next phrase, which obviously on a live vocal with a live mic, you'd hear all that kind of stuff.
Baby, you do this to me, baby.
But again, look at the freedom we've got here.
She's gotta get out. She's gotta get right out of here.
Right, just skip it on a little bit. Oh, here we go. So backing vocals come in again, and yeah, back to this A440 sound.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Nothing really matters. Anyone can see. Nothing really matters. Nothing really matters to me.
Yeah, and there we have it. So, yeah, the other thing, I know that people might watch the video and point out about particular vocal phrases that, you know, don't really match up, but that's just because of the multiple takes. Like there, for example, where I'm trying to take that back, where you can see that Mickey is changing, or you can hear that he's changing, but he's already said, he's already changed into the "whoa, baby." He's already singing that, but we're not hearing it yet. Let's see how late it comes in. But again, that's just using the different footage. And by the way, you can see that he's got his battery pack on there, and if this is all, you know, being faked or being mimed or being lip synced when they were recording it, there would be no reason to be wearing all of this stuff and be, yeah, have the amp there and be plugged in and have it all genuinely set up. So yeah, I guess the final point to make is that there might be people that understandably think that this is just all one performance, you know, captured at the time, maybe on one microphone in the middle of the square. But I think people that know about music production know how this all works, that it's not that. It's the performance being done multiple times during the day and then the best bits taken from it. But they were performing at the time. And that particular audio has then been put into a digital audio workstation and edited like you would do with a studio track that you were releasing, and those things like pitch correction have then been applied, and, you know, the crossfades and all that kind of stuff, taking the best bits of different performances. So there's lots of natural stuff in here, but it's also important to understand what you're listening to. So yeah, Anyway, yeah, that is the video for tonight. And again, this is just an objective analysis video. So I'm just saying what is going on and what's happened to the audio and why certainly, definitely at the beginning, things sound a little bit off if you are sensitive to A440. That's the reason why. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video, and keep those suggestions and requests coming to requests@wingsofpegasus.com. As always, let me know what you guys think, and if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys at the next one. Rock!